Merry greetings and welcome back to Grand Prix World and the Arrows playthrough. You join me for rounds 5 and 6 of the 2005 Championship, which is currently being led by Pedro Diniz with a 10-point lead over teammate Giancarlo Fisichella, both drivers with 2 wins to their name thus far. So very evenly matched. Taking a look at where we stand right now, we've got some updates to deploy and all the usual stuff, but first the usual housekeeping business. I really appreciate all the feedback you guys gave regarding what we're going to do when this playthrough inevitably concludes. I'm going to take a look at some of the proposals in a little bit more detail, and we'll, between us, try and figure something out. The channel really is going through another period of transition. It's been evolving over the last 12 months as I kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, and it seems it seems or did seem that strategy games and motorsport games tended to be the better performers. The co-op Stellaris stuff did quite well for a time as well. Hearts of Iron 4 has a big following in Norway compared to my other videos, which I'm very grateful for. That will continue until its conclusion. I'm doing it sort of once a month now because it's very, very close to finishing, and I have no idea what I'm going to do once it wraps up. But moving forward, it seems that there's going to be a very distinct F1 flavour on the channel for quite some time. My F1 2016 career mode playthrough isn't going quite as well as I expected, but the videos are very long, and as I said in one of my episodes there, I'm thinking about just doing the races and qualifying, and then doing post commentary over the TV style replay and kind of putting them out as like a TV style highlights reel, just so it's easy to follow what's going on track rather than just constantly watching through my cockpit view. I don't know yet how much work is involved in that, but from experience I can say it's a lot, and I don't know whether it necessarily makes sense, but I really do enjoy that game, and I really enjoy the idea of playing through a multi-season career, so I'll stick at it one way or another. But in terms of the F1 management scenario, Motorsport Manager will be making at least one appearance, as we've already discussed, and Grand Prix World's going to be around for a while to come yet. Someone left me a very exciting message, so for those of you who've been wanting to play this game and have already upgraded to Windows 10, please check out a comment on the last Minardi video, which I think was episode 6. Someone has found a solution for getting Windows 10 to run Grand Prix World, which is very, very exciting. It's very exciting for me. The good news is that means we can carry on with the 1998 season game, the base game, here, and then I can do another playthrough that I just mod the balls off, and we can play, like, I don't know, 2016 mod, 2015 mod, 2007 mod, some particularly interesting seasons in F1 actually I think are on offer there, and I do like to see what people can bring to the game with a bit of modding, so maybe we'll do an episode looking at some mods. Additionally, final update, I've given some thought to what I can do for the 100 subscriber thank you shoo-biddy-boo. I'm still looking into the prospect of running a live stream, so if you've got any preferences on when I could do that for you, then please do let me know, and I'll try and accommodate you if I can. I don't know if it's going to work because the game is so inherently unstable, but if I can't do a live stream, if I just can't get it to work because my internet is poor and there's all kinds of technical limitations that we have to overcome, then I will record a quasi live stream, which would be an extended video, most likely on Grand Prix World. So there's that. Final thing is, I've always tried to keep the channel collaborative, and I want to run an idea past you. So I know a few years ago there were a number of sim racing leagues that were running games like Grand Prix 4 or R Factor or whatever, and people were running sort of multiplayer management games using the editor for Grand Prix 4, and I came back to me a few days ago, and I've been thinking about it ever since, about how much work would it really be for me to be the game master, as it were, and do all the behind the scenes numbers. I wouldn't play myself, of course, because you wouldn't trust me. Like, you guys would just think, he's cheating, whatever he does. But to try and replicate a sort of management game for all of us, probably like a playthrough email deal where decisions are taken confidentially, so you don't know what your other rival team managers are doing. Those of you who are graphically talented could send over car skins. I would generate a bunch of fictional drivers, and we would try and Grand Prix world things up a bit on a multiplayer scale, where you would get live coverage of the quali and race sessions. Again, it would result in long videos and possibly affect the turnaround of other videos, except Grand Prix World, because that's super easy. So let me know what you think, if that could work for you guys. Until they do a multiplayer manager game, a good one that works today, that's pleasing, there's no reason in my mind why we can't sort of improvise one. So again, your feedback is very welcome. Right then, moving on. Pedro Diniz took another win, and Alexander Wurz got the pole position. He's been on fire in his Ferrari. Arrows have completed a works power contract with Ford again. That makes me happy. Wurz is obviously coming to drive for us next season. Emmanuel Collard has signed a contract with Stewart. I've got a feeling we've done this news. I think we have done this news. Sorry guys, I've recorded this episode twice, and that's why I think I've done this news before, because I lost the original recording. Nah, what an idiot. Mika Salo will be driving for Benetton. That's a good signing for them, in my opinion. And Eddie Irvine has completed negotiations with McLaren. The Alexander Wurz deal is very, very spicy. Bit of a German joke there for those of you who get it. So let's knock out some spare parts. We should now begin to sort of receive a return on investment, I suppose, on some of the decisions we've made at the start of the season and last season, of course, because your previous season always makes makes a big deal out of things. That wasn't even a sentence because I was looking at a picture. Bit of a brain fart there. Your decisions from the previous season do always have ramifications over the coming season, and sometimes even further down the road than that. So the point I was trying to make before I forgot how to speak English was that some of the decisions we made regarding, for example, increasing the size of the factory, trying to invest some of this capital that we have on hand into things, will start paying dividends. It's going to get even easier to maintain our current position. We still have space to play with inside the factory, so we're going to continue hiring people. It will push our wage budget up, but it should in turn make the maintenance of our current dominant run even easier, and we may find that we become even more dominant as time progresses. Which is good, because that gives us the best possible chance of maintaining a incredibly dominant run for Pedro Diniz, which we all want to see. Carl Eisen is still fucking us about, but I do want to retain him if I can. Everyone's signed up otherwise. So, testing first of all. This will be the conclusion of this year's test program, because we will no longer have to produce test data for things like the engine, for example. I'm going to continue investing in technology because we have sort of gone off the boil a bit there. Yeah, we've got another point to put into the car here, so that's all good. We should also find that we finish tyre testing within sort of the next 2 rounds, and yeah, it might even be that we conclude fuel testing this round as well. So round 5, and we're already starting to tie a lot of things up. We're going to run maximum testage again, because we can. It's going to generate a lot of points that we don't necessarily need. On the engine front, we will have a near perfect engine. I'm going to sort out weight, reliability, heat and fuel economy. Rigidity is not really something we need to test to correct at this point, but it is an option should we need it. I will boost the intermediate tyre, I think. Because that's only had one iteration so far, so I think it's important to give it a little bit of love. And on the fuel front, we will again evenly distribute the points, and then we've got one more test to run there. I'm not even sure it's even worth it, to be honest. I'm not even sure it's worth it. For a single point, I mean, maybe on the race fuels to get that final little teeny bit of power out, but other than that, I don't think it's really worthwhile. Our technology is upgraded. And we can now move on to the final development stage of the 2006 car. It means we're going to tie that up way before the mid-season point, which is good news indeed. Over in sponsor land, we have an extended works deal on the table from Mobile One, which we're going to sign up straight away. Tyres are already dealt with. Team deal with Murano is also complete. It's only one season, which is a bit unfortunate, but still, we're going to leave 20% of our guys on that deal, get ourselves some sweet bonus action. Our negotiations with Ford are concluded. We've already got 2 of the 3 possible bonuses, so we're going to leave 20% of our guys on that and try and complete the process. I am going to boost negotiations with PIAA and Danker. Who's offering the better deal there? PIAA. So they will have the additional 1% that we don't know what to do with. Hospitality will continue because there is basically no reason for that not to be the case. Except I'm going to drop forward for a round in favour of PIAA and just make sure that we get that deal tied up. Everything else looks just frankly amazing, which is good. Yep, designers are all designy. The cars are in need of repair, and that concludes our preparations for round 5. Now, what's going to be very interesting to see is how this battle between Diniz and Fisichella unfolds. I don't think Fisichella has necessarily been slower, and on the cases he's won, Diniz has actually put in a better drive. He's just been on a suboptimal tyre or maybe had a poorer qualifying session. So again, they seem very evenly matched, and I think if we can get a repeat of my personal favourite season, which went right down to the wire, that would be pleasing to me. I think this playthrough deserves a few more good seasons before we wrap it up, so here's hoping. Now, what will be interesting and what can happen, something we should keep an eye out for, and again, I'm going back to tutorializing a little bit because of what's going on over on the Minardi playthrough. If you become too reliant on certain partners, for example Ford, this is a 2-season deal we're entering with Ford now. That'll take us through till 2007. The game does like to pull the rug out from underneath you, and if you develop a particularly reliant relationship with a certain partner, they can just exit the sport. And I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if we found that suddenly Ford announced they're withdrawing from F1, and we might find that maybe Renault or Toyota enter, or maybe we just have less engine contracts to have available for us. I do like it when that happens. I think it's good that the game tries to maintain a level of challenge and keep you interested. So fingers crossed that maybe someone tries to cause us some trouble. I'd like that very much. What level traction control do we have? Oh yeah, that's insignificant traction control, so we're going to complain about it. And we'll look at McLaren for automatic gears, because why not? Everything is staying basically the same. We're going to continue to try and avoid favouring one driver over another. I'm going to set Fisichella up for dry weather. And what to do? I think actually I'm going to set him up for a little bit less dust. Not sure why. Just getting a feeling in the old bones. And I will set Pedro Diniz up for a less fixed surface. I think that's probably a good way to go about it. Evolution 5 power units and race fuels for all concerned. That is our political stance. No new tyres for Diniz this round, I don't believe. Nope. So we're continuing with the hard-soft split, and now actually Fisichella has the tyre advantage. Well, I say tyre advantage. He's got the more developed tyre, however, obviously the hard and soft compound have their own characteristics. That means there isn't really a dominant one, although the soft is consistently faster over a single lap pace, of course. Now then, 2005 Spanish Grand Prix qualifying, 29 degrees and cloudy for us. Let's see if we've improved our fortunes in qualifying. Probably not. No, we have not. Alexander Wurz continues his clean sweep of podiums for Ferrari, pole positions even, on a 1:26.30. Johnny Herbert puts his Jordan second on a 1:26.77. Jordan still pretty impressive in qualifying. Celso Moreira takes third for Ferrari. Giancarlo Fisichella outqualifies Pedro Diniz for an Arrows 4.5, and Juan Pablo Montoya rounds out the top 6 on the grid. Top 10 is concluded by David Coulthard's McLaren, Johnny Newhouse's Minardi, Eddie Irvine's Williams, and John O'Lace's Sauber. Smashing. 28 degrees and dry with a strong wind for race day. Excuse me. Again, we're going to one stop with Fisico. So that would be a 33-32 divide, I think. I always like to keep the second half shorter than the first, just so the tyres have a little bit less work to do. I hate the idea of the tyres being the cause of an accident on the last lap of a race, for example. Right then, everything's set up. Let's see who's king of the hill. Pedro Diniz takes another win on a 1:35, 2:47.64, massively ahead of Alexander Wurz in second in his Ferrari 1:36.01.279. Juan Pablo Montoya rounds out a podium for Jordan on a 1:36.03.643. Johnny Herbert, Michael Schumacher and David Coulthard take the remainder of the points. Pedro Diniz lapped everyone up to and including David Coulthard in 6th position, finishing 2 laps ahead of the Tyrrells, Prosts, Stewarts, and it was a number of cars that resulted. Start that sentence again. I'm sorry, it's a weird Sunday. A number of cars have resulted in accidents, failures. Numerous things that have raised attrition. I'm trying to see if there's any particular pattern there. I mean, both Saubers failed to finish, but for different reasons. Engine failure being the most common cause of people being taken out of commission there, but yeah, nothing other than engine failure sticking out. Seems a very odd pattern of failures there. Pedro Diniz extends his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship, 40 points ahead of new number 2 bod Alexander Wurz on 22 points. Giancarlo Fisichella in third on 20 points now. Looks like Diniz is opening up that gap. Speaking of opening up gaps, Arrows continue to power ahead at the top of the Constructors' Championship, 60 points, clearly in front of Ferrari on 27, Jordan on 17, Williams on 16, McLaren on 9, and Minardi rounding out the point scorers to date with a singular point. Now, Monaco, always important to invite your most important sponsors, of course. Let's see if we've got anything bonusy happening. We do. Already bonuses coming in. That makes me pleased. Let's then make sure we bring along Ford, who are a very important partner of ours, and I guess Mobil actually, because I'm a little bit more fickle on the tyre front. I find it much easier to switch tyre supplier than I do anything else. Um, Generally because the tyres are quite comparable anyway. Taking a look throughout the team, we need to make some more hires in the commercial department, in the design department. Boom. And that's it for now. Still very, very good. Very, very encouraging stuff. We've got a upgrade on the brake performance. We should now, I think, upgrade. Let me think what we could do to improve our quality performance, perhaps. Yeah, brakes and suspension for me are still the big drivers of overall performance, so we're going to give ourselves a performance boost on the suspension front. Additionally, good news, our first upgrade of the 2005 season is complete. We have a new front wing to play with, so we will deploy both of those things immediately for maximum benefit. I think it's interesting that the game took the design choice that you just build the upgrade and that's it, rather than having to build it per car. I think it would be cool to be able to test specs next to each other rather than them always being guaranteed to be better. We're almost done with the 2006 car as well, which is very encouraging. Our handling score is now up to 66% of potential. We're not going to get 100 this season, I don't think, but we can now redeploy ourselves some cheeky points here and there. I think that'll do. Testing is super cheap here, so I'm going to run a buttload of it. No point in not doing that. Race fuels need less attention, we know that. The engine also now needs less attention. Yeah, I don't think we need that much on the tyres either, actually. And we'll give Carl Eisen some input on setup testing. Including your test driver in setup testing actually does offer some benefit. So why not do it? Why not do it? Smash it. Okay, so we did complete enough testing to be able to begin developing another upgrade package for what will become our C-spec car. 66% current score. We're lacking downforce, so the new solution is going to be the deployment of a new diffuser. Let's put that into design stage straight away. Then we will do the usual spare parts dance of our people. I will repair the cars and we will hit the track in Monaco for what could hopefully prove to be a very successful outing. I'm hoping that the additional handling from the new upgrade package might help us. Although I think on a track like Monaco, where raw engine power isn't necessarily a guarantor of success, we might find that it's just the supreme aerodynamics that the Ferrari seems to be rocking wins the day again. But I would like to start picking up pole positions. It's been something that has been lacking in our overall performance all the way through this playthrough. We've been consistently poor in qualifying compared to our rivals, and we've always won on race pace. And of course, I've always been happy with that because the race is where it matters. That's what brings in the prizes, which brings in the prize money. However, it would be nice to sort of start getting these clean sweeps. Right then, I think we are good. Not going to make any changes again. Right, I have a preference here, I think. Definitely more downforce. I think it's definitely important to have better brakes as well. But I'm going to give an extra point to Deniz because he's becoming the consistent deliverer of the results. I don't like to favour a dry or wet setup decision, to be honest, particularly at Monaco. What I am going to do though is I am going to assume nothing. I'm going to make the car even more glued to the circuit and see how that pans out for us. Specification 6 across the board, and we've got new intermediate tyres as well, so we'll lock that in. And then before we go any further, I just realised I didn't order any new specs of anything. The wet weather tyres are the ones getting love on this occasion, and we've got one more test to run on those. We have now concluded the fuel testing program. That's pleasing, and we've also definitely finished now with the engine testing. So that means our expenditure on the test program will come down and we'll stop burning through our cash quite so quickly, which means we can continue to invest it on things like a wind tunnel. I'm going to order a wind tunnel because I can. Really? Because I can. That then means that we've upgraded the factory to the maximum possible level by the 2006 season, which I have to say, not to blow my own trumpet, but that's pleasing to me. I have to say it's giving me a little tickle. Let's make sure we've repaired the damage that Fisichella picked up through the failure we had last round. Sponsors are all sponsory, that's good. Everyone's got the latest specification of everything. Right then, let's do Monaco. It's really important here to get the best possible result because you can end up actually getting 3 cards to play: TV, Success and Hospitality. And for smaller teams in particular, and I'm not including us amongst that anymore for obvious reasons, those cards can completely change your game. So let's see what we can do here. 26 degrees with light rain for qualifying. Not going to make any changes, let's just do the runs. Yeah, of course Michael Schumacher takes pole position in wet weather conditions. It was never in doubt. A 124.091 puts him on pole. 124.661 for Alexander Wurz puts him second. He's still got great qualifying form, Wurz, and I don't know if it's down to him or down to the car, but one of them is delivering incredibly well. Incredibly well, given that his teammate is 16th. Quite a lot to talk about in this qualifying session, it seems. Eddie Irvine-Williams lines up third ahead of Giancarlo Fisichella's Arrows. Fisico putting in a 125.539, second and a half off the back of the pole-sitting car. Jean-Alesi Sauber in fifth. Mika Hakkinen takes sixth for McLaren, and Pedro Diniz languishes in seventh. A tenth and change, sorry, off the back of Mika Hakkinen's McLaren. Down in Loser Town, we see that Emmanuel Card Stewart and Alessandro Marini's Prost both failed to hit the 107% qualification time and were not allowed to participate in the race. Others that did not qualify under the 107% rule but did get a pass from the stewards were Jan Magnussen Stewart, Esteban Tuero's Prost, and Stefan Sarazan's Tyrrell. Really starting to see now how big the performance gap between the top and bottom teams can open out to be. Prost again really suffering, unfortunately. 26 degrees and light rain again for the race. That actually, in my opinion, reduces our chance of getting a win here, because assuming nothing goes wrong with Michael Schumacher's car, he's just too dominant in wet weather conditions in this game. But nevertheless, let's see what we can do. We're going to one-stop Fisichella, assuming that the track turns dry. I mean, he really needs to close the gap now anyway. This is a risky call, I admit, but why the devil not? Because if it works, it should really work, and he should get a win. That should help him close the gap up to Diniz. Diniz has a lot more work to do, but he's consistently been able to do it, so I'm not too concerned. Let's smash it. Oh. Yeah, called it. Michael Schumacher takes the win for Williams. I guess conditions stayed wet on a 155.54786. Alexander Wurz takes second position for Ferrari on a 156.31119. Giancarlo Fisichella takes third, a 156.52304. Pretty well clear of teammate Pedro Diniz. Of course,